Now on CoastTV News.
A traffic light coming down. What changes that are coming to the Route 1 and 16 intersection that you need to know about. Demolition Day coming soon. A makeover coming to the Rehoboth Beach Boardwalk. The Easter Bunny made a special appearance in Ocean City today.
And it was a spectacular Easter weekend on Delmarva, and we cooled down considerably in the lower 50s right now. I'm tracking a seasonable cloudier Monday before we see another run at near 80 degrees. It's going to be pretty dry most of the week. I'll talk about when our next rain chances arrive coming up.
This is CoastTV News at 11.
Good evening, I'm Brandon Ferguson. Happy Easter and welcome to our CoastTV News at 11. We begin tonight with changes coming to Coastal Highway connected to the Milton Bypass project. The Route 1 and Route 16 intersection will undergo some changes starting tomorrow. Lane shifts will take place. A new west side ramps are also set to open and improve flow between Route 1 and 16. And a signal on the southbound Route 1 will be removed, but the light for northbound traffic will stay up. And this is the fourth phase of the Milton Overpass project, a $23 million effort expected to wrap up by fall of this year. In Dagsboro, officials could be cracking down on disturbances across the town with something called a public nuisance ordinance. Town officials define a public nuisance as anything posing a threat or disturbing the peace, with examples like noise violations, disorderly conduct, or alcohol violations. Town leaders say it would help give police officers a guideline for enforcement if any issues arose. But some neighbors tell us they're not sure any will, and locals are mixed on this matter.
I don't think it's necessary. We live in a really quiet town. My daughter and I walk these streets all the time.
So maybe some people in certain areas might have problems. It's just peaceful.
A public hearing for that ordinance will take place tomorrow night. Town leaders will discuss and possibly vote on that proposal in Dagsboro. On your screen now is a crash from yesterday. Seaford Volunteer Fire Company say that a driver was trapped inside the car before being taken out by the fire officials. And that is all of what we know of what happened at this crash, and the condition of the people in the car have not been released yet. Route 24 drivers in the Lewis area, there's going to be some lane closures and a new traffic pattern starting right now. On your screen now is where this work will take place. There's going to be nightly construction from 8 p.m. to 7 a.m. and this is the final phase of intersection improvements at the Route 24 Angola Road and Robinsonville Road intersection. This work runs through May 19th with nightly construction. DelDOT urges drivers to slow down in work zones and plan for minor delays while traveling through this area during the nighttime. And now to Rehoboth Beach's boardwalk. Fences are up on the north end of the boardwalk, preparing for demolition to start next week on the Grottos and Old Sirocco Motel. And this is the first step towards building the One Rehoboth Avenue Hotel. That will range from Baltimore Avenue all the way to Rehoboth Avenue. Demolition is set to begin tomorrow. And one local told CoastTV it will all be worth it at the end.
Well, that's probably like a time where you wouldn't want it to start, but I think once they get it going, it'll be another great place for someone to stay.
Rehoboth Beach has a ban on demolition starting on May 15th, so work will have to pause at that point, but work will resume in September when that ban is up. Sussex County Emergency Management is reminding everyone during severe weather, when you use a generator, always keep it outdoors and at least 20 feet from windows and doors. This helps prevent carbon monoxide poisoning and reduces the risk of electric shock. We're now going to take a live look into Milford, bringing our first alert meteorologist Chris Mastrobuono. And Chris, it was a beautiful Easter Sunday, but will that trend continue?
Without question, Brandon, we had a spectacular Easter weekend, and we're going to stay pretty dry as we start the week. Few little showers rolling in Tuesday morning, but overall it's trending to be a rather quiet weekend. We had a spectacular weekend. 84 was our high on Saturday. We saw a high of 77. In fact, some parts of Delmarva today squeaked out another 80-degree temperature, including Salisbury. Look at that high of 88 80 there. We had 82 Wallops Island, 77 Ocean City, 77 in Georgetown, and 73 in Easton. Well, check that out. We're running a good 23 degrees cooler in Salisbury, 21 degrees cooler in Georgetown. Remember, this time last night, we were in the mid-70s. Right now, we're seeing clear skies throughout much of Delmarva. Pretty quiet throughout much of the Northeast, Mid-Atlantic. We are going to see clear skies right now in Milford. We're at 54 degrees. Temperatures right now are generally in the lower 50s, 51 in Milton. We're at 55 Seaford, and we're at 52 in Delmar. Now, as far as your Monday goes, we are going to see more clouds. Could see some breaks in the sun through the afternoon time frame, but overall a cooler day with an onshore flow. As we get into Tuesday, we start a bit damp, few morning showers, but by the afternoon, it is shaping up to be quite nice, making another run at 80 degrees. So for tomorrow, we begin around 51 degrees at around 6 a.m., 55 at around 8. Again, mostly cloudy skies, some peaks of sunshine as we get into the afternoon. We'll talk more about those late week rain chances coming up a bit later on in that full 7-day forecast. Brandon?
Thank you, Chris. Easter along the coast has people hopping from one thing to the next. As Coast TV News reporter Kevin Zapay shows us what people were up to in Ocean City for Easter.
Going to Mass, shopping along the boardwalk, and meeting the Easter Bunny. These are just a few things people did in Ocean City to celebrate Easter. And Sean Davis, the pastor at the Ocean City Baptist Church, says today marks the start of the busy season.
Easter's exciting time in Ocean City because it's really the start of the season. It's the spring's here. You start to see a lot of visitors start to come in.
On Sunday, Easter was celebrated all along Ocean City, and with that came families spending time in church in their best getup, and then hopping over to grab a bite to eat. And inside the Carousel Oceanfront Hotel, the Reef 118 restaurant inside is holding a special buffet just for Easter and a special visit from the Easter Bunny. Something General Manager Liz Acker says everyone is loving.
The bunny definitely brings a great reaction from the children. We had photos with the bunny, so family members, kids could get photos with the bunny after the Easter egg hunt that we had right here on the property at the Carousel.
With crowds now coming into Ocean City, businesses all around town are opening back up and getting ready for the busy season.
With the weather getting warmer and people wanting to venture out, they've been stuck in the house all winter long. Ocean City is definitely a destination where they want to come, and so we're anticipating large crowds from here on out.
And not only are businesses getting ready, the town is too. With everything opening back up in Ocean City, the town's setting up Springfest, which will be starting April 24th. I'm Kevin Zapay in Ocean City, Coast TV News.
As Kevin mentioned, in Ocean City this week, Thursday through Sunday, it's the 34th anniversary of Springfest. There will be live music and handmade crafts, and all the fun will take place at the Inlet Lot in Ocean City this weekend. A recovering Pope Francis celebrated Easter services today. The 88-year-old pontiff greeted the crowd of thousands gathered at the Vatican's St. Peter's Square and wished them a happy Easter. In the address, the Pope made a strong appeal for world peace, particularly in Gaza, and offered prayers to Christian communities around the world. Vice President J.D. Vance met with Pope Francis at the Vatican today. The private meeting was brief, only lasting a few minutes, according to the Vatican. The Vice President, who is Catholic, and the Pope exchanged Easter wishes. Vance has been visiting with his family, visiting Italy this weekend. Yesterday, he met with senior Vatican officials for more formal talks. Pope Francis, who is recovering from double pneumonia, did not take part in those discussions yesterday. Back in Delaware, the deadline to get your real ID is quickly approaching. Starting May 7th, we'll all need one to fly domestically. The Delaware Department of Transportation and the Division of Motor Vehicles are urging people to check their real ID status. Officials say more than 742,000 Delawareans are already real ID compliant, and they say those that are not should get to the DMV as soon as possible.
You will need two proofs of your Delaware address, proof of your Social Security card, and proof of name change. So if you've been married, bring in your marriage certificate, married and divorced, your marriage certificate, and your divorce decree, and just bring those to a Delaware Division of Motor Vehicle location.
For those that do not make that May 7th deadline, a passport or global entry will still get you on board a flight, and you can still get a real ID at the DMV after May 7th. In Bethany Beach, police are seeing an increase in packages being stolen off of doorsteps. Bethany police say to keep an eye out for suspicious activity and to help protect yourself from porch pirates. Police say to try and be available for your deliveries, require signatures for your packages, and track your packages. If you notice any criminal activity near your home or neighborhood, you're asked to report it to authorities. If you plan on heading to the Lewis-Georgetown Trail next week, here is an update. DelDOT is announcing a closure. The agency says it's in an effort to control vegetation that will use herbicide in the area. The closure is planned for Wednesday, April 23rd, weather permitting, but there is a rain date for Thursday. DelDOT says work will take place from midnight to 8 a.m. and the herbicide isn't dangerous to people or wildlife. Coming up tomorrow on Coast TV News, road paving in Fenwick Island. What work the town wants to get done before the summer season.
Well, we have a mostly cloudy, cooler Monday with an onshore flow ahead of us. We have a little pesky little rain chance early Tuesday before a pretty nice afternoon, and we stay pretty quiet, seasonable most of the week until week's end. We'll talk more about that late week rain chance coming up in that full 7-day a little bit later on the newscast.
Atlanta after a police chase and a stabbing in Maryland, leaving multiple hurt. Don't go anywhere. We'll be back in just 60 seconds. 2 Atlanta officers are hurt and a suspect is dead after a shooting in Atlanta, according to South Fulton Police Chief Keith Meadows. Lieutenant Charles Cook was driving along Fulton Industrial Boulevard when he saw a Fulton County police officer in a traffic stop. Chief Meadows says Lieutenant Cook stopped to assist the Fulton County officer. He immediately exited his patrol vehicle and the suspect opened fire on Lieutenant Cook, striking him at least 3 times. Meadows says Cook remains hospitalized at Grady in critical condition. The Fulton County police officer, who was also shot, sustained minor injuries. The Georgia Bureau of Investigation has taken over this ongoing investigation. In the Washington, D.C. area, police shot and killed a man today who was armed with a knife. Police say the man had stabbed 2 people and set their apartment on fire. They are in critical but stable condition. More than an hour after the stabbings, police encountered the man at the National Harbor waterfront where the confrontation took place.
Officers discovered 2 victims, a man and a woman, with critical stab wounds. Before fleeing that scene, the suspect also set fire to the apartment. Officers learned the stabbing was domestic related and the suspect was known to the victims.
In the recently finalized Maryland budget, some help for the Chesapeake Bay and communities along its shores. $400 million are headed to restore the Bay economy, according to the Maryland Department of the Environment. This is a part of the Bay's $3 billion overall economy. The department says the Chesapeake Bay will also use this money to upgrade wastewater treatment plants and living shorelines. And that money will also support work that keeps the Bay clean. Now to Millville. 2 volunteers were arrested for chasing a Millville fire employee with a noose. And we learned this last week about the Millville Volunteer Fire Company said about this crime, which happened on Valentine's Day last year. And as Coast TV News reporter Zacchaea Jennings shows us the exclusive details of this case.
These are the 2 men who were arrested on hate crime charges. Jay Droney and Jordan Hastings. According to court documents exclusively obtained by Coast TV, Droney approached the victim and was swinging a rope tied like a noose while the victim was grilling food and said, quote, "Come here, boy." Court documents say Droney chased the victim with the noose and was laughing while the victim ran away. According to court documents, after that, the victim says Droney has called him a racial slur multiple times and would talk about cotton fields in front of him. According to court documents, Jordan Hastings filmed the incident on Snapchat. A detective says when they interviewed Hastings, he said it was a joke and the rope was a fireman's knot. According to the detective, the video clearly showed Droney carrying a noose. Both men are now facing felony charges.
Both Droney and Hastings have had their memberships permanently revoked at the Millville Fire Department. The fire department declined to interview with us last week, and we'll have more on this story tomorrow on Coast TV News at night. Tariffs on toys. Why some parents are worried about Christmas in April.
Well, a lot of clouds to start our week in both Cambridge and Crisfield. I think we'll touch 70 degrees Cambridge tomorrow afternoon, and Crisfield right in the upper 60s with some peaks of sunshine. We'll talk about near 80s in that 7-day, plus some more significant rain down the road. We'll talk all about it coming up on Coast TV News at 11. Well, I hope everyone's Easter weekend was spent wonderful with family, friends, and great food. Me and Brandon were chopping down on some ham and macaroni and cheese and some cookies here earlier. Salisbury coming in at 51 degrees. Skies are clear at the moment, and we will see partly cloudy skies through the overnight. So a lot cooler than where we were at this time last night. Remember, we were in the mid-70s throughout much of the peninsula. We're at 54, Rehoboth 52, Bethany Beach 52, Del Mar, and we're at 54 in Seaford. Winds virtually calm inland, a light wind at the coast, and we're going to see that easterly flow kind of persist as we go throughout the day tomorrow. 77 was our high today in Georgetown for a morning low of 52, average 89. You see the record 89 set back in 1976, and a few other Easter records in Georgetown. Look at the rain there back in 1989. We picked up over 5 inches of rain, and there you go, 2 inches of snow back in 1996. So we are clear, dry, pretty much throughout much of the Northeast. We've been under the influence of high pressure. Quite a severe weather outbreak going on here across portions of Illinois, Indiana, Kentucky, Missouri. Tornadoes, severe weather out there. We're going to remain pretty quiet, at least for the next 24 hours. We'll see a few showers kind of move into the area tomorrow night into the wee early hours of Tuesday, but then the main rain threat looks to be by the end of the week. So highs tomorrow, the further you are away from the coast, the milder. 59 Rehoboth, we'll see 68 Seaford, 71 Vienna, 68 in Cambridge, 68 Princess Anne, and 66 in Salisbury. So there's the clouds to start tomorrow morning. Easterly flow. By the afternoon, I think we see some breaks in the clouds. 71 Seaford, 66 Milton, again 50s at the coast, 54 Dewey Beach. Then as we go into overnight, during the early morning hours, we see a brief round of showers, some areas of drizzle, damp start to our Tuesday. But by the afternoon, a mix of sun and clouds, and I think some of us away from the coast are going to touch that 80-degree mark. So a pretty nice Tuesday after a damp start. Average high 68. 80 on Tuesday, and we're going to be kind of right in the lower to mid-70s throughout most of the middle part of the week. 66 Chickateague on Monday, the cool day 59 in Assateague. As we make our way up to Fenwick Island and Ocean City, a lot of clouds Monday, and then as we go into Tuesday does look like the best day of the week. And then as we go into Lewis, cloudy skies, upper 50s to lower 60s, and then the warmest day does appear to be Tuesday with highs in the lower to mid 70s. So there's the showers rolling in Saturday. Could see a late shower Friday, but I think the most unsettled day right now appears to be Saturday, where we could have been dealing with some scattered thunderstorms. So we're at 70 on Wednesday, and I said those highs generally in the lower 70s throughout most of the week. 74 Saturday, looks like a rather unsettled day, and we cool down into the upper 60s on Sunday.
Chris, and I'll tell you what, that was some good Easter dinner here at Coast TV. And we've shown you how tariffs are hurting candy, countertops, and electronics. But today we're talking toys. Coast TV News reporter Emma Aiken spoke with one store that says they were planning for this.
Misha Cosetto owns several businesses in Sussex County. She stocked up when tariffs went into effect.
We took very heavy in early this year, just to be prepared and to be covered. But I'm also finding a lot of my vendors, because I pre-ordered, I did almost all my buying for the whole year in January. A lot of them are backing and holding their prices, they're eating the differences.
But still, Seto says she can't predict the long-term future.
In my gift shops, everything, all my stuff. I mean, there's not a lot made in the USA anymore. Cost of labor and different things, and it does affect all that here.
And not just gifts, but more than 75% of toys come from China, according to U.S. Commerce Department data. For parents like Kristen Angelucci, she says tariffs are scary.
I've already started to think about Christmas, and what are we going to do if the thing she wants most for Christmas is something that is 4 times what it would have been last year.
And she says it's tough to plan ahead.
The tricky thing as a parent is you can't get out of the way buying your kid what they're going to want 6 months or a year from now, because they don't know.
As toys like kites rise, so do concerns for some on the coast. For Coast TV.
Another interesting thing the owner mentioned to Emma, she says customers are starting to ask more questions about her products, whether at her clothing store, and customers are wondering where things are coming from. And she says some no longer want to buy products made in China. Looking good may start to get more costly as tariffs are expected to soon impact many beauty supply stores. It comes after the Trump administration recently announced a 145% tariff on imported goods from China, which is where many supply store items come from. Some stores, such as Beauty Icon in Kansas City, have already started giving a heads up about the recent tariffs and what they mean for customers. Coming up, everyone gets a little tired during the day, but a new study shows us the negative effects of daytime sleepiness. But first, dementia linked to marijuana use. We have that story next. There are millions of cannabis users in the country, and a new study that was published is linking some regular users to an increased risk of dementia. In a study of more than 6 million Canadians, scientists found that within 5 years of an emergency room visit or hospitalization for cannabis, 5% of people were diagnosed with dementia. Within 10 years, 19% of people were diagnosed with dementia. According to a new study, signs of daytime sleepiness may be a red flag that could harm your long-term health. The American Academy of Sleep Medicine has released its latest research on the negative effects of sleep deficits. Experts say sleepiness, including yawning or dozing off at work, is a serious health concern and could put you in physical danger. Not getting at least 7 or 8 hours of sleep has also been linked to developing or worsening health issues. DHL Shipping is temporarily suspending business-to-consumer shipments that are worth more than $800 here in the U.S. DHS says the move was due to a significant increase in red tape at customs following the introduction of President Trump's tariffs. Previously, packages worth up to $2,500 could enter the U.S. with minimal paperwork. However, now the threshold has been lowered due to more stringent customs checks. DHS said the new policy would start tomorrow. It's a transitional time leading up to menopause. Right now, millions of U.S. women are going through premenopause, which can greatly impact their lives. In today's Health Minute, Mandy Gaither goes over what to know about premenopause and the symptoms that would signal a woman is going through it.
It's a natural part of aging, but a 2022 survey shows many women are going through menopause or perimenopause without knowledge or appropriate medical care. More than 90% of women in the study reported they'd never been taught about menopause in school, and more than 60% said they didn't feel informed about it at all.
I think it's really exciting, though, that for women, we are addressing and putting out there in the forefront hormonal changes that occur in the later part of reproductive life.
OBGYN Dr. Sujatha Reddy says menopause is when the ovaries stop functioning and there hasn't been a menstrual period for 12 months. Perimenopause is the time leading up to this.
What most women will experience are changes in these hormone levels leading to abnormal or irregular periods.
Reddy says other common signs include hot flashes, vaginal and sexual changes, as well as altered mood and sleep. Most women will begin the menopause transition between ages 45 and 55, but it can happen earlier or later. The average menopausal age in the U.S. is 52. The process typically lasts several years, but every body is different.
There is no exact test. There is no exact diagnosis. We tend to treat the symptoms that women are experiencing in this time.
If symptoms are disrupting your life, Reddy says to see a doctor and to be aware of companies selling an instant fix.
There is no magic wand that is going to cure every symptom you have.
For Health Minute, I'm Mandy Gaither.
Oh, and one little pesky rain chance tomorrow night into early Tuesday morning. That could bring a brief shower on the peninsula, but more significant rain chances late Friday into next weekend. We'll talk more about that coming up in the full 10-day forecast right after the break.
Each Friday, you can share with a weekly dose of local good news from Coast TV. You can sign up now for our Feel Good Friday newsletter at coasttv.com/signup. Coming up this Friday and Saturday, head on over to the Harrington Fairgrounds for the DSN Outdoor Expo. On Friday the 25th, it's from 3 p.m. to 8 p.m. and on Saturday the 26th, it's from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. The DSN Outdoors Expo at the Harrington Fairgrounds this weekend. Into the Trenches is back for its third season this year. We follow the Cape Henlopen Vikings football team fresh off of their first state championship appearance in 40 years. Into the Trenches premieres Thursday, April 24th at 7:30 on DSN and DSN+.
Well, cool and pleasant conditions on this Easter night. We're seeing temperatures right now in the 50s, 50 in Milton, 52 Georgetown, 51 in Delmar. We'll drop a few more degrees. I think some of these inland areas will drop maybe in the upper 40s here through the overnight, and then we're looking at lower 50s at the coast. So around average low around 50 tonight under partly cloudy skies, and then we are looking at generally cloudy skies for our Monday with an onshore flow. We'll see some breaks of sunshine by the afternoon, and then after a brief shower Tuesday morning, we are looking pretty nice for Earth Day with sunshine and pleasant conditions, highs right around 80 degrees. Get your forecast anytime by dialing that First Alert Weather phone. 70 on Wednesday. Pretty calm and tranquil really through Friday. Could see a late shower Friday, but I think the better chance of rain we're targeting right now looks to be Saturday. And then behind that system, we cool down to 67 on Sunday, 69 on Monday, and then we're back up into the mid-70s by Tuesday and Wednesday.
Thank you for joining us here on Coast TV News for these Easter newscasts. For more news and local weather, download our Coast TV News app. We'll see you in just a few hours for Coast TV News Today, starting at 5 a.m. Have a great night.